That might be one of the most creative birthday themes I've heard.
My wife's idea.
Dang. Your wife is brilliant.
Your wife.
That's fantastic.
She taught you how to tie flies, and now she has the most killer birthday party ideas. She really is a keeper.
I know. I feel inadequate.
You are, dude. No.
I know.
That's why you're talking to us.
Yeah, get off the show. Bring your wife in. Let's talk to her.
Welcome to Guys Fishing Weekly. We don't just fish, we hug.
What's up, buddy?
Eddie, how are you, dude?
I'm good. How are you?
Great, man. Loving life. Living large.
Loving it. Loving it. Well, I'm gonna hop right in with my celebration because it's what's been going on. I did my 20-miler today.
20-mile run, dude. That's insanity. Congratulations. Yeah. You're not
Torture,
dead.
But I'm done. But I did it.
You lived. See, you can do this shit.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Starting to believe a little bit more. But yeah, no, it's all good.
Okay. What did you learn in your 20-mile run today?
Oh, learn.
Yeah. Yeah.
I learned that it's temporary. The pain is temporary. I didn't learn that, but I reinforced that.
Okay.
You just gotta keep going. That it's only for a certain amount of time, and then you're done.
That's a good learning, dude. That's a good, valuable lesson for most people.
At least that's what I'm telling myself.
We all go through pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, every day that I have to wake up and work with you, it's painful, but it's temporary.
It's temporary.
I'm just kidding. That's not true.
That's mean. That's mean.
Yeah. No, that's epic, dude. I'm glad, man. Congrats. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm getting stoked. What about you? What are you celebrating?
Okay, so I'm celebrating some newfound information.
Oh.
I get this newsletter, The Daily Husband.
Okay.
Gives me little tidbits about how to be a better husband. Here's the thing I learned. It's easy in a marriage, right? To like, you go in to brush your teeth. There's shit all over the counter. Easy to jump into. Jesus Christ, can you just put your shit away, right? It's easy to point out all those little things. When in fact, what you should be doing a little bit more of is calling your wife up, not out.
Okay. Explain.
And that concept was like a good one, right? Calling up, not out. And instead of like those times when the multiple times a day when you feel like calling, your significant other out, to think about, instead of the negative thing they're doing or whatever, or the thing that's bugging you, to think of something awesome that they do. And so they give you a ratio of like 5 great things to say versus 1 negative things to say. That's how it should be on the daily, finding 5 positive things to say to your significant other.
But you're allowed to say 1 negative thing, right?
Yeah, like that's what the ratio is. Apparently, yeah, whatever. I think you'd like to get to the point where, you're calling up, not out. So maybe you're reframing the negative thing in a way that could be a little bit more positive. But yeah, so that newfound information, I am celebrating that because I've been working at that, and things seem to be really good. So that's good.
Glad to hear that. Can you use the example in a sentence, please?
The example in a sentence. Okay, so when my wife comes down the stairs in the morning, you say, "Wow, you really look great." There's a positive thing.
But what do you do about when all the shit's on the counter in the bathroom? Is that when you get to use your one?
You
oh,
deal.
You do. You deal?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not.
You say
like I'm not a
you do a really good job of putting on your makeup.
Yeah, exactly. Just reframe it.
Okay.
Yeah, you do a great job of accumulating products that make you look great. Something along those lines, I think, will work perfectly.
All right. Sweet.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try.
So I'm like, give it a shot. See what happens.
I'll give it a shot. I'll report back.
Come back. Yeah, if you come back with a black eye, I'll know you didn't do it right.
My navigation next week might be divorce. So
5 positive things a day. That's what I'm focusing on. I'm not even worried about the 1 negative. I'm just working on I'm celebrating my newfound information to enrich my relationship by saying 5 positive things to my wife a day.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Yep. Yeah. Seems to be working all right so far.
Good.
Yeah. How about navigation, Ed? What are you navigating these days?
Well, I'm about to head out to Colorado for a little week vacation in the mountains. So I'm navigating getting out of town, which as you, and I'm sure all of our listeners know, getting the fishing gear and the kids' bag all packed and all that stuff.
The family gear.
The family gear.
There's the fishing gear and the family gear. Yeah.
Right.
You gotta make sure you get it all.
Gotta get it all.
Right on.
So that's what I'm navigating.
Love it. That's a goodie.
What about you?
I am navigating, as you well know. I had a digger. I had an incident, a wipeout, where I hyperextended my newly replaced knee. So I'm navigating soreness and knee injury, dude. And I'm pissed. That's tough. I got a lot of stiffness. There's still some swelling in it, and I just bought a row machine, and so, I want to be active on my doing that, and I still have some pain in my knee, so, I'm navigating that. It's frustrating, getting old. I'm navigating a lot of shit that goes with wiping out when you're my age.
Yeah.
I'm not as spry as I used to be. I can beat myself up with self-talk, negative self-talk, and so, yeah.
I'm not going to make any old jokes because that's not nice. But I am glad you just hopped right to focus on trying to get a little more strength in that leg and both your legs, and so we can keep getting on the water, and I hate to point and laugh when you fall on the river.
Yeah, it's always funny, but that one hurt. So so that's what I'm navigating, trying, and it just takes time for injuries to heal, and I just want to go do stuff, and I'm a little limited, and so it's a pain, but whatevs, I'll get through it. Patience, Ed. Patience is important. Indeed. Who we got today? Who's on the show?
Today we're talking with Brian Beach.
Brian Beach from Montana.
And he's the owner of Fins and Pins, a fish-inspired golf gear company.
And such a great concept he's got going.
No doubt. His art on his painted on the bags and head covers of golf, awesome.
Really cool stuff. What are we talking about?
Well, we're talking about 2 complementary hobbies, golfing and fishing, the camaraderie that come along with both of those, the secret lunkers that reside in golf course ponds, and the best times to fish up in Montana.
Nice.
So let's get into it.
Let's do it, bro.
Hey, Brian, how are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. Welcome to the show, Brian.
Yeah, appreciate you guys having me.
Absolutely. Brian, where are you coming to us from?
I am out of Helena, Montana.
Right, Helena. Isn't that I think that's the town the newspaper reporter and like Brad Pitt's character in A River Runs Through It. Didn't he work for like the Helena newspaper or something?
I believe that was filmed in Missoula.
Oh, okay.
But
whatever.
Way to go,
same
Reid.
thing.
Yeah.
You blew it.
Helena, yeah, Missoula, whatever. Yeah.
Close enough.
They
I
rhyme.
think you mentioned Helena.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you start off by giving us a little background on yourself?
Sure. Yeah, I grew up in Missoula, Montana, and played golf my whole life, and eventually decided to pursue that and moved down to Southern California when I was 18 and went to Professional Golfers Career College and tried to make something out of that, work in the pro shop, teach, become a pro, and found out that really wasn't for me. So I started greenskeeping when I was 21 and kind of fell in love with that. Started out at a course in Missoula called the Highlands, and I was the night waterman. So my shift was 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. And I'd go out and plug in sprinklers every 20 yards and quick couplers and just kind of run that hole by hole. It was a little 9-hole track. Overall, pretty easy. Didn't have to deal with anyone. It was just me out there in the dark, water in the grass. Yeah.
I didn't even know that was a job. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, it used to be irrigation systems weren't automated, so you'd have to manually plug in sprinklers to quick couplers, and the Highlands still to this day doesn't have an automated sprinkler system, so they still have a night waterman. Anyways, did that for a season and decided to move back to California and got a job caddying, and I was doing the 7 a.m. to around 1 p.m. shift and get off work and then go play and practice, and eventually decided I should try to pursue this career playing professional golf, and traveled around in the winter and played the Golden State Tour when that was still a thing. It's since disbanded and was absorbed by Asher Tour, which is pretty big mini tour now. Mm-hmm. But yeah, spent the winters working, playing, and then the summers out in South Dakota playing the Dakotas Tour, trying to, win a couple tournaments, make it big. Went to Canada, tried to Monday qualify for some Canadian Tour events, and never quite made it, but was decently close. After a couple years doing that, trying to Monday qualify for events and playing Dakota's Tour, just didn't really make sense to keep going. I was making enough money to keep my head above water, but not enough to really go a couple more years. And my girlfriend at the time kind of asked, what are you doing? What are your plans? And
the Happy Gilmore treatment.
Yeah, kind of. But eventually she was working for Boeing in Seattle, Washington, and transferred to Helena. And I didn't realize that Boeing was in Helena. And, next thing I know, well, we're moving to Helena. And so we moved to Helena Thanksgiving 2018, and that was my first winter back home in 10 years. And it was horrible. I'm used to
California to winter in Helena.
Yeah, going from 75 degrees and palm trees to -10, and you're not really doing much outside besides shoveling snow. Is a little bit eye-opening. But I knew I was going to work at either the municipal golf course here, Bill Roberts, or the country club, Green Meadow. And my cousin was the head pro at Bill Roberts, and so I went in there and ended up getting a job greenskeeping that next summer in 2019, and just loved it. Immediately made friends with all the regular golfers and was playing 5 days a week. And there were multiple days where I'd go to work at 5:30 and I wouldn't come home till 9 because I'd get off work at 2, and then I'd just golf the rest of the day.
Right.
That didn't last very long. But towards the end of the season there in 2019, I talked to my boss and asked him what I needed to do to move up. I don't want to weed whip the rest of my life kind of thing, and said I got to go to school. So I enrolled at Rutgers Turfgrass Management Program and did their 2-year program, and graduated there with an agronomy degree and knocked my wife up right after I got out of school. And now I'm a full-time stay-at-home dad.
All right. Nice.
Till my kids are old enough to go to school. I mean, my oldest just started preschool last week, and that's been
Yeah,
fantastic.
how's that been? I gotta imagine
Oh, it's been,
the green boogers are just flowing.
yeah. I'm not sick yet, but
Okay.
I'm
It's
sure
coming.
yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be down the
The
road.
first 6 months when we put our daughter in daycare were just, I mean, it was every week something new. You're just like, another cold.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And this is only her second week in preschool, but
Okay.
she goes Monday through Thursday, 8 to noon, and so I'm able to have some one-on-one time with Morgan, and she's 17 months old.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
but they both get up around 5:30, sometimes
Right.
earlier. And Morgan usually naps around 10 for an hour, and I'll get that hour to either do chores or work on fins and pins. Just kind of depends on what's going on, but
Right.
once I pick her up from preschool, it's playtime outside on the swing set, or I try to get him to help me pull weeds or mow the
Nah.
yard, and not
Nice.
not so interested in that. I mean, the sandbox is a popular place for them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, especially
Not where you want to be
after-
as a golfer, but as a dad is all right. Yeah, go play in the sandbox.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. Exactly. I don't practice a lot out of the bunker in the backyard, but
fine. Nice.
yeah, I try to get them outside as much as I can, because once winter rolls around, it's just not friendly.
Right.
Not a lot
Right.
of outside activities.
Yeah.
Talk to us, Brian, about fins and pins. Clearly, golf's been a part of your life. Pretty much. I don't know. Imagine since you were young, if you're good enough to get going on and possibly be a pro. I know that's a grind. To that whole process is a difficult one. But talk to us a little bit about the fishing aspect, and like clearly growing up in Montana, probably fishing was an idea in your mind. How did Fins and Pins? Tell us a little bit about your company, Fins and Pins, and how that came about.
Yeah. So when I was down in Palm Springs, playing all these tournaments, I was a junior member at this course, and there was another younger guy my age who was also out there, and we eventually got together and started bullshitting. And oh, you like fishing? Oh, I like fishing too. And started playing more together. And he's a huge fly fisherman, and I was not. I was, all about gear, and I didn't look down on fly fishing. I just
Right.
never really got into it that much growing up, just because my dad and my brother and my grandpa all gear fishermen, and he got me into fly fishing down in the desert for bass and catfish and carp, and just kind of fell in love with that. And so we would play at like the vintage club where we both caddy, and they had monster bass in a bunch of the ponds out there. So we'd go out and play 9 holes, and then on the back 9 we'd just bring our fly rods and then go catch bass. And both doing this after a couple months, and just thought, no one's really doing anything with golf and fishing. We should probably do something. And this was in 2017.
Okay.
Right.
Like, yeah, let's do something. And nah, nothing ended up happening. We were both focused on trying to play pro golf, and just didn't have a whole lot of time. But the idea was there, and the concept was there. And about 3.5 years ago, I was just scrolling Instagram and ran across someone that had posted a pair of these painted brown trout golf shoes, and like, I gotta have those. Those are sweet. Get in touch with the artist, Wes Ashcraft, out of Chubbuck, Idaho. So I get a pair from him, and like, these are great. And eventually ask him, like, hey, could you paint a golf bag? And he just was like, oh, I'll try. So he painted up this brown trout golf bag for me. This thing's great. And I sent a picture to Sam, and he was like, oh, that's awesome. And it was like, hey, maybe we do something about fins and pins. And oh, I don't have a lot of time. And I'm like, all right, no problem. I don't have a lot of time either. It's fine. And uh, another year or so went by, and I asked Wes if he could paint some head covers for me. Yeah, I'll try. And he painted some brown trout head covers for me that turned out just great.
Right.
So then I sent pictures to Sam, and I go, dude, I'm starting this. I'm doing this. I've got good response on this. Let's do something. And he said, all right. So yeah, almost 2 years ago, just kind of started this up with hand painted head covers, and then it's slowly evolved into what it is now. And it's been a grind. I'll say that, between trying to golf and raise my family and do other things. Just haven't had a whole lot of time. But it's kind of got to the point where it's taking off, and now I'm putting in 2 hours a day when my kids go to sleep. And sometimes I'll have to take a phone call during the day with, a head cover vendor, hat vendor, bag vendor, whatever. And, I answer the phone, and my kids immediately pick up on me answering the phone. And they don't like that.
Right.
I'm not giving them attention. So I'm trying to tell my vendor, hey, I need this done. The red spots on the brown trout need to be lower. And I have my daughter in the background just screaming at me. Yeah.
She's good at helping make deals.
Yeah, the closer.
The closer, exactly.
Yeah. But it's been really interesting because there's really no other golf company that's doing anything like this. There's a couple companies that have done one-off products that are kind of fish themed, but they're just so. They're not really that dedicated to it, where our company is more dedicated to having these immaculate designs and realistic designs, whether it's brown trout, steelhead, whatever. And the design part has been a really, really big process, just trying to dial in, where I think the last rainbow trout head cover I got, the pink band on it was just way too pink, and trying to dial that back. And then it went from way too pink to just, no, that's not enough pink on it. And, the head covers are somewhat of a staple for our business, but the hats, our logo that we have now, our T-hook, has been popular with golfers and fishermen, and even non-golfers and non-fishermen alike. I mean, they just kind of like the design, and we're fortunate enough to be able to capitalize on that. And I have a number of friends that are head pros or GMs at courses that are interested in stocking our product, and very, very pleased that they're doing that for us.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I imagine up in Montana that's, with your connections in the golf world, and, it being such a, fishing mecca, that's probably a pretty good recipe for success up there. Being able to get into some places, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it really is. Because really, golf and fishing are, for the most part, hand in hand. There's a lot of fishermen in golf and vice versa. So we're just trying to capitalize on that market, and it's been successful so far. Being that the golf season up here is starting to taper off, and it'll probably snow next week. It was 90 degrees today, but you never know what's gonna happen next week. Our next phase is trying to get some saltwater designs, snook, redfish, tarpon going for the courses down in Florida, Louisiana, and try to tap into that market. And that's a year-round thing for them, but, golf in the summer in Florida, hot.
Right.
Yes,
Got to get out early.
Oh,
Yeah, exactly. I think the biggest struggle that we've had is trying to, get our products in certain shops, because we're still relatively unknown, but the designs and on our head covers and some of our hats, the pros like, and it's nice when they do throw the dice, and yeah, we'll take 12 or whatever, and then they do sell. Oh, we need more. People like them. It's like, yes, that's what we're looking for.
Your products are really cool and unique, and obviously, like you said, no one else is really doing that, and so it is probably a pretty cool thing somebody can pick up in a shop. They like both sports. They can go do that. They make great gifts to give to somebody who loves both of the hobbies, and it's a smart thing to tap into, no doubt.
Yeah, it's I'm just so passionate about golf and fishing, and I'm giving this my all, and constantly trying to evolve and advance on our designs and logos and whatnot. Like, we have a pretty cool design. It's a golf cart pulling a raft.
Yeah, that's a cool sticker.
Trying to change that color of the raft to, like Oregon State Beavers orange. My partner lives in Corvallis, Oregon, and they go,
okay,
hey, I'll get you some all black hoodies with orange logos and a golf cart pulling an orange raft. Let's see how they go. And so, the trial and error is still there to see what interest there is.
Yeah.
Because some people, they just like the design, and other people, that aren't fishermen are like, golf cart pulling a raft, whatever kind of thing. At the same time, I got a golf cart pulling a skiff, golf cart pulling a bass boat, just trying to cater to all those markets. And, it's not necessarily just fly fishing, it's fishing in general. Like, we don't care. If you like to fish and you like to golf, we're your company.
Right. 100%. That's the way we are too. Like, we're not, any kind of fly fishing snobbery here. It's like, if you like fishing, like, that's it, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, once I got into fly fishing, I just refused to even touch a gear rod. I do this trip every year with my brother and my dad over to Fort Peck in eastern Montana, and they're really big into walleye fishing, and I'll try and tie these jig style flies to get down to 20 feet or whatever, and he'll pull up to a spot and he goes, all right, here we are, and looking at the fish front, I'm like, it's 45 feet, what am I gonna do here?
Right.
And he's like, well, grab a gear rod, and I'm like, no. I don't care. If he wants to fish in 45, 50 feet or troll, that's fine. I don't, fishing's fishing to me. I just enjoy it all. But, since I started fly fishing, I've just become obsessed with it. And, my wife taught me to tie flies, and that was a bad thing for her.
She's a keeper.
Me. Yeah, well, yeah. It's still with me today.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it's addicting. I really enjoy tying flies, and I don't tie a lot during the summer months. A lot of the times I'll tie deep into the winter and just kind of prepare for the next season, or I usually go to Oregon in November, so I'll tie a bunch of salmon stuff up. But really enjoyable to be able to tie something and then catch something on that fly that you tied. It's just kind of, a little bonus point to the satisfaction. Like, yeah, I tied that and I, caught that fish.
I haven't got that feeling yet, but Reid has enjoyed that on some memorable fish at this point. So I'm hopefully, well, I don't know if I want to say hopefully, but I'm taking up the dark arts here later this winter. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, you should. One thing I'll warn you about is once you get into it, it's down the rabbit hole you go.
The beauty is I don't fish with anything besides one type of fly, so I only really need to know how to tie one pattern, which is the stimmy, and I'll be fine. I don't know why everybody has all these different tricks and things when the stimmy works just fine.
See, yeah. I'm horrible with tying anything small. I tie, like smallest fly would be a Clouser minnow, and I love tying big pike flies and bass flies. Absolutely love that. And someone, oh yeah, can you tie a size 12 stimmy or parachute Adams? I'm like, nope. No, you just go buy that. It's not going to turn out good for you.
Ed's idea of changing flies is like, do I use a green stimmy, an orange stimmy, or a yellow stimmy? That's pretty much it.
Purple.
Yeah, purple. Yeah. I really don't do a lot of dry fly fishing, even though I'm kind of in dry fly mecca in the summer months.
I'm like, you're like the promised land of dry fly fishing.
Yeah. Once the golf course opens in the spring, the vice goes away, and I don't really fish a whole lot, but maybe like once or twice a month. It's just really, really busy, especially on the Missouri River from the dam down to Craig. It's a mecca down there. People are catching fish, but it's just boat after boat after boat, and then I'm kind of the token guy in a raft, and they're like, "Oh, look at this guy! He must be from Missoula."
Ghetto fisherman in his raft.
Yeah, not to say it isn't fun, but I'm not the best with the technical presentations and hey, what's that flying around? And like, yes, it's a bug.
It's a bug.
I went this summer in late July, and it was solid fishing, but it just kind of reminded me how bad my presentation is for dry fly fishing, and the fish on the Missouri get hit every single day hard, and if your presentation is subpar, you're not going to catch a whole lot. And it's frustrating to see 25 boiling trout and you put a drift through them and don't catch it, and you're like, what am I doing wrong?
Right.
Yeah. But that is what it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I want to go back to, you originally started telling us about how you got into fishing through your dad and uncle, and then, the starting of Fins and Pins, your partner there coming together, being buddies on a course, and just the overall idea of that you guys have with Fins and Pins and getting together and doing this and with other people and the enjoyment of doing these hobbies together. I guess, what has the fishing community and the golf community kind of meant to you over the years that's kind of kept you drawn in?
Yeah, that good question. The golfing community, especially here, is pretty tight knit. A lot of the regulars at the golf course, they're retired. They do anything for you. Incredible guys.
Yeah.
And when I started this, they were all about it, interested, and I've taken a bunch of them out fishing, and it's been pretty awesome, honestly, to be able to get these guys out. Oh, you take someone out. Oh, I haven't fished in 6 months or whatever, and then they're out fishing with you, and they just enjoy the shit out of it, and it kind of gives you this feeling of satisfaction, like, oh, this is great. I mean, the fellowship at the golf course is fantastic. I mean, I can show up really any day, and there's going to be someone there that I know and kind of part of that group, and whether or not they even played golf that day. Some of them just show up to have a couple beers or whatever, dinner, and just hang out and bullshit. And that whole community is fantastic. That's not to say that the fishing community here is bad. I'm sure it's the same thing. I just don't do a whole lot of it in the prime season to get to know a bunch of them. I have a friend that really good golfer that's a guide, and he's slammed throughout the summer, and he says that the camaraderie for the fly fishing guides is incredible. They all get done guiding for the day, and they go grab a beer and bullshit, and they're all really tight knit friends, and that's fantastic. I just don't I don't hang out with them enough, or, my community is more geared towards the golf course.
Right. I imagine too that where you are with parenting and a 17-month and a 3-year-old, yeah, they are completely dependent on you for everything. And so having the golf community and having that kind of space, I'm sure provides you with a reprieve, right? We all need that break, but also maybe some mentorship. Speak to that a little bit. Have they been open to giving you advice and helping you along with the challenges that come with parenting?
Yeah, yeah. We usually go to the golf course on Wednesdays for an early dinner because our oldest has ballet at 4:30, and there's typically about 5 or 6 guys that get done playing, and they're there, and then the kids just love playing with them, so it gives Brittany and I some time alone, if you want to call that.
Right. Yeah, as alone as you can get now. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, we're in the restaurant eating, and then the kids are playing with, Kenny or Schmiggy, enjoying it, and they love that. They see him once a week, and they love that. And another really, really good friend of mine, who's kind of my adopted dad now, Butsy. We see him probably twice a week, and he retired 2 or 3 years ago, and I'll take the kids over there and see him and his wife, and they just, love him to death. They spoil him, and then they, give him candy, and they wind him up and then give him back to me, kind of thing. But it is quite amazing, the community that I have at the golf course and the fellowship, and it's really been fantastic. I mean, Bill Roberts is one of 3 golf courses in Helena. I mean, we have a country club and then another public play course, but Bill Roberts is right in the middle of the city, and it's busy, and a lot of people play it. Uh, I'm sure the community is good at the country club, but hanging out with my blue collar folk is just fantastic. You don't got to wear a collar shirt out of the Muni. You can wear
Right.
flip flops, jean shorts, and a beater if you want. It's no big deal.
Right.
And I love those. I love those people. Completely down to earth, blue collar. They're my favorite. And like I said, going over to Butsy's house once or twice a week and having the kids hang out with Butsy and Corey is fantastic. And yeah, I get a little bit of reprieve, but I'm there with them, and
Right.
I don't have
Right.
to be completely vigilant. They'll be busy with Corey or Butsy playing in the yard, but yeah, it's really fantastic, the community up here in Helena.
That's good. That's great. I read on your site, and this might be a little off topic, but like you have a thing of like Play 9 and Fish 9.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I got to ask, like, I can't tell you how many times I've been golfing and you walk by the ponds in the water because I hit balls and I can't not. I'm like a magnet to water when I play golf.
Yeah.
I don't play much, but it must be, the water attraction. But I walk by and I see like just monster fish in these ponds, and I've never had the balls to just bring a fly rod out and start casting, although it has crossed my mind every single time I play golf. And so how do you, like, do they just let you go fish on the golf courses?
No. No,
do you have to like sneak on? Do you have to like, is it, yeah. How did this come about?
There's certain courses that you just no. There's no fishing. You can't even fish for balls. Like
Right.
it's
Oh,
a
wow.
pace of play thing for them. They don't want
Right.
someone hitting the water and then they got their 18-foot telescoping ball retriever and they're trying to dive in for their top flight, whatever. When I first moved down to the desert in 2011, I had a younger friend who his parents lived at PGA West, which is a giant community. They have 9 courses.
Oh, wow.
And I just, randomly asked him, hey, can you get me a gate pass? And he goes, yeah, why? And it's like, I want to go in there and fish. And so he got me a gate pass, and I was able to get into any of the gates. And I just kind of picked out a pond that I thought would be good, and, went in there at 6:30 in the morning, when the greenskeepers are out mowing, and, I'm not going to be in the way, and out there fishing, catching bass. And then the course marshal drives up, and I think, oh, I'm effed. This guy's going to boot me. I'm in trouble. Pulls up, and he asks how fishing's going. I go, oh, it's okay. And he goes, reel it in. Look, what do you got? And it's not barbless or anything, but reel it in, and I got some like watermelon pearl Cinco on, and looks at it, he goes, nope, you got to use purple out here. Go. All right. And then he just drove away. So in my mind, I'm going, I can go to any of these ponds in the morning as long as I'm not blocking play, and I can fish. And so that's what happened. We were able to, on a couple of the courses, go out early and play the front 9, and then we would just skip like 10, 11, 12, and then start fishing. And so that's kind of where the play 9, fish 9 came from.
Okay.
And
nice.
Other courses weren't so friendly. I got kind of used to the fishing and no one really bitching. And one course I played, I was out there throwing like whopper ploppers or something and catching bass, and then the marshal came up and, oh, no fishing on this golf course, you can't do that. Oh, no, sorry, no problem. And that was kind of that. And I kind of found it was better to ask for forgiveness than for permission. A lot of those courses down there, they have big largemouth catfish, and a majority of them have carp. And the carp were kind of our target because some of them would get to 30 pounds.
Right.
Oh, wow.
But when I started fly fishing, I'm not very good at casting and trying to figure that out. And you would really only get one cast because they'd be in about 2 feet of water feeding in the mud on snails or something, and you would have to just land your cast like a raindrop in front of them and then hope they'd eat it. And, I'm casting over their back or landing it on their tail fin. And, eventually got a little bit better, but still not great, where my business partner is just a magician. I mean, hey, there's a carp at 85 feet in the shallows. He's, okay, watch this. And, he's got his 8 weight, and he just throws this perfect cast that just lands like a raindrop. I'm like, how the hell did you do that? And he still does it to this day. I go fish with him every winter in Oregon, and we're fishing for Chinook or silvers. And, okay, here's the pool. You got to be gentle with the cast. And, I throw a depth charge in there, and he goes, nope. Reel it in and sit down for 15 minutes and then try again. And then he goes out, and it's just, he's throwing a 16th ounce jig on a fly rod, and it just lands perfect. And then he hooks up, and I'm going, what am I doing wrong? How are you doing this? Yeah.
That's probably the same way he feels when he goes golfing with you. Or I guess he's probably good at golfing too. He's a good golfer too. He's better golfer than me. He played Asian Tour and Canadian Tour. And we both played Dakota's Tour for 3 seasons. And out there, the big thing was carp and bass.
All right.
And
he's an aggravating friend to have then, that seemingly can do things better than you.
Right. Other than have kids.
Right.
No, he's working on that. I keep telling him it's life changing, and
yeah,
when he does finally have a kid, you're gonna have to plan your fishing trips out.
Well, I have another product suggestion for you. You need to make a golf bag that has a fly rod tube attached to it.
Fly rod holder.
So
talk to me.
they make these golf bags that are 14 dividers in the golf bag, and some of the companies actually make them where it's 14 plastic tubes.
Okay.
Right.
And I thought, hell, I could make one of these out of a PVC pipe and have it kind of cushioned at the end, and have it somewhere either in the golf bag or strapped onto the side of the golf bag.
Mm-hmm.
But that, research and development and trying to figure out good use of my time. Am I going to sit in my garage one evening and drink a couple Oktoberfests and try and figure this out? Or, am I going to try to do some email marketing? What am I going to do?
Well, I hear it snows a lot in the winter up there, so maybe you'll have some time this winter to put my product together.
It does. It does. But wintertime for me is fishing time.
Okay.
I fish probably at least 3 times a month in the winter. There's just not a lot of people here, and once I figured out how to run my spay rod, I just become so addicted to it, and I just love throwing my 6-weight spay rod for trout. And it's I could go out and not catch anything for 3 hours, but I just enjoy the process of getting better at casting, evolving my casting abilities, and when I do hook up on the spay rod, it's just such a vicious grab, and it is so awesome. I mean, catching a big bow or brown on a dry fly is fantastic, but at the end of a swing and you hook up on a spay rod, I don't know, there's nothing quite like it. I mean, for me, and everyone's different.
Right. Pay attention,
I have
Ed.
one of the guys that works at Bill Roberts is a diehard dry fly fisherman. That's all he does. Refuses to nymph, refuses to throw streamers. It's only dry flies. And the guy is incredible at casting, and he hooks up. But whenever I try and take him out in the winter months, nope, I don't want to go. Are there any bugs flying around? Nope, I'm not going.
Right.
And like,
but there's still fish to be caught.
Right. No problem. Is what it is. Even if the weather is 20 degrees, I got no problem going out for a couple hours. I'll be prepared. My waders I bought too big for some reason, but it panned out because I'm able to put 2 pairs of wool socks on, a couple pairs of sweats, nitrile gloves, fingerless gloves, and I'll be able to last. And then I don't have to battle the crowds.
Right. Yeah. Get the river a lot more to yourself. Maybe not to yourself, but a lot more. So.
Oh yeah, most of the time it is. Like, my friends here, they like to fish, but in December I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go out. Okay, have fun. Like,
yeah.
All right, I will.
Yeah, no, winter fishing, you definitely have quiet days on the river, and it could be quiet days catching, but it's quiet days period, and you don't see another soul, and that's the best. That's the best part of it. You can fish some great fisheries, and there's different kinds of fishing, Ed. It's not all stimmies in the wintertime.
You guys can have your way. I'll go somewhere else.
No, hey, that is what it is. Like, I'm not going to knock someone for doing their own thing and fishing the way they want to fish. Like, I see that people trash on people that Euro nymph, and I'm like, whatever. I could see how that is crazy effective, but it's just not for me. And
right.
I just rather swing streamers and be kind of chilly, and that's fine.
Nothing
I'll do what I have to do.
Hammered. Yeah. It's all good.
Well, I think it would be awesome to get up there and go fishing with you. I think the uniqueness of potentially a trip together is you could teach us or take us on a golfing fishing combo. So
yeah,
if we were to come up there for a 4-day, 3-night sort of trip, what would a trip with Brian Beach look like?
A fins and pins trip. What are we doing?
My favorite time to fish is typically the fall.
Sweet.
Just it's beautiful out. You know, it's still a little busy, but the fishing's pretty good. You can still get them on dries. You can get them on streamers. Fall golf is awesome out here. You know, I have a friend, Dorn Brown, that guides. He's been guiding for 9 years out here. He played golf at Clemson. He's from South Carolina. Awesome dude. He's probably the only plus handicap guide in Montana. He's really, really good golfer and really good guide. But he's, I wouldn't say strictly, but mostly dry fly only.
My God.
And he's not limited. Yeah, not
Pay
limited
attention,
to Missouri, but you know, he's talked about having some clients come in and they'll go fish in the morning till, you know, noon or 1 or something like that in the summer when it gets hot afternoon, and then they just go golf at Green Meadow Country Club the rest of the day. You know, an ideal trip for me would be probably golf early in the morning in the fall, and then go out and fish for 3-4 hours in the evening. And honestly, the fishing out here is kind of limitless. There's so many places within 30 minutes of my house that are good. You know, you can float from the dam to Craig, and that's 40-minute drive. You can drive down to Hauser Dam and fish below the dam, and that's 20 minutes away. You can go fish below Canyon Ferry Dam. That's 30 minutes away. You can go fish Canyon Ferry Reservoir, Holter Reservoir, Hauser Reservoir. You catch walleye, brown trout, rainbow, ling, pike, perch, occasionally a smallmouth. Those are very rare.
Nice.
But the fishing's really limitless out here. I mean, I just wouldn't recommend fishing July and August. They're kind of iffy months unless you want to go fish for a couple hours in the morning, because even if you fish in the evening, it's going to be 90 degrees and the bite's just not that great. Typically in the fall, late September, the brown trout start to run below Hauser Dam, and that can be pretty fun, especially at night. Like, if you get into a couple spots, you can skate some mice. You know, if you're confident in that game, that can be pretty fun.
That's just like a big stimmy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's right. We're newbies. I caught my first couple fish on mice this summer, and my first one ever at night, which was it was a nice fish. It was a big rainbow, and it was awesome take. I mean, just absolutely crushed it. It was one of the most violent takes I've had. So, yeah, I'm all in for mice fishing at night. I'm good.
Yeah, it's a completely different game. When I don't do it a ton, but I do it. Yeah. You know, a couple, 3-4 times a year, in spots that I know I can wade, you know, X amount out and not fall in and drown. You know, it's an incredible game, and it is really quite difficult to fly fish at night.
Right.
I even bought this Scientific Angler's glow line to try and do it, and found that it was just so.
Yeah.
You know, every 2 or 3 casts, I'd have to hit it with a UV light, and then it just faded.
Okay.
But, you know, you can hear the hit.
Right, yeah. Oh, yeah, it was amazing. It was an explosion. And I see guys now are tying. I guess they have fly tying material now that glows in the dark. And guys are tying mice patterns with like these tufts of, I don't know if it's foam or I don't know what it is, the material, but it looks like kind of like a foam topper on, you know what I mean? And it's like, it looks insane, and it looks awesome.
I'm trying to think of the guy. It might be Trout Trap or something. He tied some mouse patterns that had these foam UV glow in the dark pieces on it, and then glow in the dark eyes, and they looked awesome.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, more power to him.
Right.
You know, my go-to fly shop here in Helena is Montana Fly Goods, and My buddy Nick works there, and he's always pretty honest, sometimes too honest about things. Where I'm like, hey, I'm gonna tie this bogus 8-inch pike fly, and why would you do that? This is what you need to do. Trying to bring me back to reality, and I have this like, oh, triple articulated fly with a dragon tail on it or something. And he goes, no, you don't. You don't need that. I fished with him a number of times, and he's really pretty gifted and just kind of knows what's going on. And I need this sink tip or floating line here, whatever. So I always pay attention to what he says. But he is reserved. When people come into the fly shop and I'm there talking to him, and then people start talking to him about where to go, and it's, well, maybe you should check this area out. But he won't say exactly where and exactly what to use, but, maybe you should use this or this or this, which I appreciate, because other fly shops that I've been into when I first moved here, I'd be in there, hey, what should I use? And then I got 12 flies, like,
right.
Okay, well, I'll use the orange stimmy.
That's right. That's the fly shop you need to go to.
Okay, it's January, but I'll use it.
Yeah.
I'll
take all the stimmy jokes you guys want to have. Fine.
No, that's it. I got nothing more, because I can't do it. Yeah.
It's all
It
good.
is almost stimmy season here, though. Like, hopper season's winding down, and the orange stimmy in late September, early October is a good one.
Let's go, Ed.
I'm all for it. Let's do it.
Let's head.
Well, how about we wrap this up with the GFW hot seat?
Sure.
Welcome to the GFW hot seat, where the name of the game is to answer the questions. And the prizes are... Wait, who said we have prizes?
Hell yes.
There you go.
The full experience, the full GFW experience.
Love it.
What is one thing you're currently celebrating in life?
My daughter's 3rd birthday coming up here very, very shortly. Her Thriesta, we're doing tacos.
Oh,
right.
Thriesta theme. I like that.
Thriesta.
Yeah.
Nice. Never heard that. That's great.
That might be one of the most creative birthday themes I've heard.
My wife's idea.
Dang.
Your wife is brilliant.
Your wife.
That's fantastic.
She taught you how to tie flies, and now she has the most killer birthday party ideas. She really is a keeper.
I know. I feel inadequate.
You are, dude. No.
I know.
That's why you're talking to us.
Yeah, get off the show. Bring your wife in. Let's talk to her.
That's great. The Thriesta. Is it going to be like a big bash? Bunch of kids, bunch of families. Are you at this stage where it's like you invite like the cool parents that you enjoy hanging out with, or is it like her friends that you invite over and you just deal?
I'd say it's a lot of cool parents, and then our
Nice.
neighbors have 4 kids that can't seem to hang out at her house, so they always come over here,
Gotcha.
which is fun because
Yeah.
they always trash the house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. They come in, they're like the Tasmanian devil, come in, just like wreck everything and then leave.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
they
I
range
gotcha.
from 4 to 1.5.
Okay.
Or from 9 to
Nice.
1.5, sorry. And they're awesome. I mean, they keep the kids busy and they get
Right,
to play,
yeah.
which is fantastic.
Yeah.
But for the most part, we'll probably have, some family over and 10 friends, 11 friends, keep it kind of low key. Her first birthday, we went over the top and it was just too much.
Right. Yeah. I just remember there was that phase where like we would just invite like all our friends and we'd just like have beers and drink, and then there was like a few kids because they would bring their kids over. You know what I mean? But it was like it wasn't full blown like a school birthday party where you don't know anybody. And I always liked the ones where everybody came over and we're hanging out and drinking and it's all your friends. So but
Yeah,
the school friend birthdays get old. You're just like, oh god.
Yeah, I've yet to experience that, but I'm sure my time is
It's
coming.
coming.
My
It's coming.
time is coming. you know, when the kids come over, her friends, everyone wants to help open presents, and it kind of turns into a shit show, you know. And then
Right.
everyone wants to play with the toys, and you know that is what it is. You know, that's fine.
It's a whole thing. Brian, give us one piece of content, book, video, TV series, anything, movie, some piece of content that you would recommend to our listeners.
So this is not fishing related, but
it's fine.
This was a book that kind of got me through a, I guess, slump in my golf career, and it was by Dr. Bob Rotella. Golf is Not a Game of Perfect. It kind of goes into the mental aspects of golf, and you know, Rotella's worked with a number of older PGA pros, but it kind of put in perspective, you know, you don't have to be so hard on yourself, because golf is not a game of perfect.
Right.
You know, that book has been fantastic. I have it on audiobook, I have paperback. The book is great. You know, I haven't read it for a number of years just because I've been busy with other stuff.
Sure.
Yeah. But I would recommend that one. That, you know, that's a good book, just to kind of put in perspective, you know, golf from a mental aspect.
Right. Yeah. Sweet.
We kind of have a theme that we do over here. Like, this is about fishing. This is not about fishing. So that book's kind of like, this is about golf. This is not about golf. It's the same kind of life advice through golf. So that's cool.
You know, I don't think the book would translate over to fishing, because fishing's more of, at least for me, like, I don't get pissed out there. It's like a stress reliever. Like, I'm outdoors. This is great. I'm having fun. You know, I might not be catching fish, but this is fantastic.
You haven't fished with Reid yet.
Now,
just kidding. He's not.
When a couple friends I have get kind of aggravated when they don't catch fish, and I can't help but just kind of like twist the knife and prod them.
Yeah, you gotta twist the knife for sure.
Yeah, a little bit like, damn, how'd you miss that one? Or you didn't see the bobber go down, huh? Or oh, you must be using barbless hook. You know, whatever. Like, I can't help myself but kind of throw those sarcastic comments in there.
You gotta poke fun at the boys.
Yeah, that's what it's about.
What is one of your favorite fishing memories?
Man, there's quite a bit. Tough to really lock down one. Always used to go fishing with my grandpa on the Flathead River, and he, for some damn reason, would always use a perch pattern Rapala, like a 6-inch perch pattern Rapala with 9 hooks, you know, 3 treble hooks on.
Oh, geez.
And, you know, we usually fished it in the summer months, so it's weedy. And it's like, I'm out there throwing a spinner bait or Cinco or something, and I'm hooking in, and he's not. And I'm like, switch. No, this is the one. And it was the same thing every single trip. He never cut the damn Rapala off, and he always snagged weeds. And I mean, for some reason, that just always stood out to me, because it was hilarious that he was so stubborn that he would never switch. It was always snagging weeds, and then occasionally hook into a pike or a bass or something. Right. But, you know, that always stood out to me. You know, when he was alive and we'd go fish, it was just, oh, what are you using today? All right.
Nice.
All right.
You got to use, to catch big fish, you got to use big bait. So your grandpa's onto something.
Well, damn, it just never changed. It was always the same shit.
That's awesome. That's great. What's one piece of advice you wish somebody had given you at 20 years old?
Probably to slow down. I mean, I guess that's easy to say now, being that I'm a little bit older, but seriously, slow down and enjoy it.
Yeah.
because it does. It goes by so fast. I mean, I can still remember being 20 and it was just go, 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 100% all day unless I was sleeping. Yeah, I wish I would have slowed down and kind of enjoyed some of the sights and some of the things, but, you know, tough to tell someone who's 20 that.
That's good. Yeah, that's good advice.
What is your definition of community?
You know, I'd say probably a sense of belonging, a sense of fellowship. You know, I feel like I'm only as strong as my community, and been fortunate enough to be involved with a strong community. And, you know, if I'm feeling down or struggling, then no problem reaching out to 3, 4, 5 different people to ask for help, you know, whatever that may be. And there's always a positive response from them, which is, you know, that's a really good sense of feeling.
Absolutely. Yeah, important to be able to have that support net when you need it. That's good. Brian, tell us one thing you've changed your mind about lately.
It's not dry fly fishing. Sorry. Last one, I promise. I promise. I promise. Be the last one.
That was
probably you know, my expectations when I play golf. You know, I just don't do a lot to improve, and I kind of made a goal for myself this year. You know, it's not lately, but you know, earlier this year, it just kind of said, "Hey, I want to go out. I want to play for fun. I don't need to go out and try to bury everyone that I'm playing with." And for the most part, I've stuck with that mentality, and I feel like it has made life a lot more enjoyable, not only for me, but for my wife, because there'll be nights I come home and, you know, I get beat at league or something, and I'm pissed where it's like, I should have beat this guy. And, you know, I feel like letting go of those past expectations have been very good mentally for me and my wife.
nice. Good.
Just because, you know, I'm not such a downer when I get home. Like, oh, you know, I got beat, whatever.
Right.
You know, I feel like it's made life a lot more enjoyable because I was living and dying by my golf scores forever, and to try and let go of that part of me was kind of difficult. Especially difficult when we first had Tegan, our first child. It was like, you know, I'm still kind of raging that I can't play golf 5 times a week, and, you know, I can feel my game kind of slipping, and I didn't know what to do about it. And finally feel like I just let it go, and it is what it is. I'm playing this game because I love it. I'm not playing to necessarily beat the person I'm playing against. And that has really taken a lot of mental burden off of me. And it's been healthier for myself.
Right.
Yeah.
And in turn, probably healthier for everybody around you too. That's great.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's good.
Yeah, just trying not to get overly competitive, even in, you know, some fun tournaments I play. It's like, you know, I got to kind of tell myself, hey, this is just a charity event. This is for fun.
Right.
You know, I don't need to take it so seriously.
Right. Good.
That's great. So our last segment here, last 2 questions for you. We call our conversation between guests. So we have a question from our prior guest, who was David Coggins, the author of the books The Believer, The Optimist, and a few others. And his question to you is, how does conservation affect places you fish a lot and where you're deciding to fish?
Man, I feel like all the places that I fish from April till end of September are just hammered. It does not matter. One spot I really like to go, there's always people fishing there. It doesn't matter. Like, you can roll in at 5 in the morning or 9 at night. There's cars there. People are fishing. A majority of them are gear fishermen, and it's rather frustrating the times I go down there. And I think you can keep 6 rainbow, and 5 walleye and 1 over 15 inches. But there's always people rolling up with a stringer full of fish. And then, I'm not saying it's the same people that bitch about it, but constantly here, the fishing is gone downhill. It's gone downhill. Every year it's downhill. And it's like, well,
yeah.
Hello.
You got your stringer, and I know what's going on. You're walking across the dam with it, and I know that thing's going to be full with whatever you catch. It could be an 8-inch rainbow or a 30-inch rainbow. You're clubbing it. But why you complain about the fishing going downhill when you have 65 rainbow fillets in your freezer is kind of frustrating.
For sure.
I don't really keep fish. The only time that I keep fish is maybe Memorial Day if I catch a good walleye, and the only reason I keep it is because I don't have to fillet it. My brother will.
Right.
Like, if it came down to it and I was, camping at a high mountain lake or something and caught a couple cutties and you could keep them, yeah, that's different. No problem doing that. But I don't fish to keep them. I fish, I guess for the sport of it. And, if I caught a rainbow, it stuck it in the tongue with a stinger hook or something, I knew it was going to die, then that's different. I would keep it and I would eat it. But I feel like I'm fairly good about pinching my barbs, and I don't want to kill any of these wild fish. I have a friend that I go fishing with a bunch who got into fly fishing a couple years ago, and he likes to eat rainbow trout, and he has no problem clubbing them. He'll club a stringer full, but the next day at work he'll show up with canned trout or something. Like, he eats them all. He's all about it. I just get pissed when I see the same guy,
right,
week in, week out, rolling in with a stringer rainbow. Even if they're stocked, it's like, I know your freezer's jacked full. Why do you need this many rainbow trout?
Right.
Kind of frustrating, but that is what it is.
No, it is frustrating, for sure. Well, what would your question be to our next guest?
I would say, what has fishing done for you in your life, and whether that's positive or negative? I would say it's positive, but why do you keep pursuing it? What is it about fishing that keeps you going, keeps you getting back out there, rain, snow, shine?
Sweet.
It's a good question.
Good question. Yep, that's a goodie. Right on. Brian, this has been a great discussion. Great having you on the show and chatting. Tell our listeners where they can find you, and Fins and Pins.
Yeah, pretty predominant on Instagram, a little bit of a following on Facebook. We just launched our website about a month ago. Kind of in a little battle between a guide service in Texas that is Fins and Pins Coastal Guide Service, and we had to change our domain name to Fins in Pins, so just an N.
Okay.
But, for the most part, Instagram's a good one. On Google, if you type in Fins and Pins Golf, a bunch of our stuff pops up. Pretty easy to find us.
Sweet. Cool.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
Your products look awesome. I love the brown trout and brook trout stuff you got going on, in all your fish patterns and the golf thing. It's really cool what you guys are doing. Love the diving in and the trial and error piece that you guys are doing. So keep up the good work, man. It's good stuff that you got going on. We'll be big supporters of you.
I would love to get you guys out here for some fishing.
Heck yeah. That'd be awesome.
Love
Definitely
to connect.
have to make that happen.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it again.
Absolutely, man. Great having you on.
We'll talk soon.
Yeah, hopefully do it again.
Okay. Sounds good, bud.
Man, I can't wait to get up to Montana to go fishing and golfing.
Montana, obviously, Mecca, fly fishing, awesomeness. So, yeah, that's always making connections to be able to go do stuff with people in Montana for sure. Highlight. I'll tell you one thing that I'm impressed with is his ability to, his commitment to making his company work. He talked a little bit about the hardships and time with being a new dad and all that kind of stuff and having young ones. But he is committed to doing this thing with his fishing, golf apparel stuff. And it's really cool concept. I think it's an amazing thing. But his commitment to that is really impressive.
Yeah. It does seem kind of like a no-brainer concept just because of the way, everybody does seem, it's kind of everybody's dream day would be to like golf in the morning, fish in the evening, or vice versa. And so it makes sense that they go hand in hand.
Right. So many guys that we know that we fish with golf too. So I agree with you. The camaraderie is so good between those things, those two sports. And so, yeah, it seems like an absolute no-brainer. For him to be able to do those things. So yeah, it's he's got an impressive company working. It's awesome.
Yep. No, it's two hobbies that have kind of that third space mentality of getting guys and girls together, but doing something together, spending time together, finding space to talk about things and the golf cart or on the riverbank. It's awesome.
Yeah, it was funny listening to him to talk. He's such a competitive dude.
Right.
To be able to grind on a golf tour at all, you're competitive as all get out. So it was fun watching him kind of reflect a little bit on that, on his competitive nature and kind of letting some of that stuff go as he's realizing maybe some more important stuff in his life. Certainly, having been a competitor, it's letting that stuff go. I still get competitive. So it's fun. It's fun to listen to other people's process through that.
I cannot imagine trying to dial that back into, every day, just hitting the links, man. That would be tough for sure.
Right? Yeah. That was good.
Well,
but good stuff, man.
Yeah, no doubt. Everybody should check out their gears at finsandpins.com and check it out. I mean, it's really cool. Well done stuff. So
absolutely. Another good show, brother.
Yep. Till next time.
Talk to you soon, bro. Love you.
Love you too, man.
That's all for today's episode. Thanks for listening. Make sure to visit our website, guysfishingweekend.com, to check out the GFW merch, sign up for our newsletter, and learn how to get involved with the community. We appreciate you spending even a little bit of your week with us and are glad to have you along on the journey. Stay legendary and happy fishing.